On the Thursday, January 16 episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers tease that Lai has done her due diligence and come to a shocking conclusion. Armed with evidence that Tom Star was not Luna's father, Lee confronts Poppy. Will Poppy try to maintain her charade before she spills the beans? Meanwhile, Steffi's plan moves forward as she introduces Daphne to Ridge. Don't miss out on the drama and intrigue. Dr. Lee Finnegan started investigating Luna's paternity. Something made her feel uncomfortable about trusting her flaky sister, Poppy. At work, Lai called up Tom Star's liver and some blood samples from the lab. After running some tests, the results showed that Tom couldn't be Luna's father. Indeed, Poppy was lying and hiding things yet again. Lai was flabbergasted. Now, Lai won't waste any time confronting Poppy with her evidence, demanding to know who Luna's father is. A sheepish Poppy may try to cover up the truth and lie a little more. Lee's not going to let her slide. Poppy will eventually be cornered and have to reveal the shocking truth. Once she utters the name of Luna's father, it will be an unimaginable betrayal. Meanwhile, Steffi continues her plot to regain control of Forrester Creations. Everything appears to be going according to plan, and she has the full confidence and support of the other Forresters. Now, Steffi will reveal her secret weapon to Ridge none other than seductive perfume mogul Daphne. Ridge may be as enchanted by Daphne as everyone else and be very pleased with Steffi's scheme. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Soap Spectrum. I am Emily here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Recently, I wrote a story speculating that Bold and Beautiful wasn't really about to reveal that, after all this time, Jack was Luna's father. Who cares? But that Finn is. Readers took it poorly. The writer of this article doesn't know what they're talking about, complained Primadonna 123 in the comments beneath the post, and is just trying to indulge us in their sick fantasy. Except that I couldn't care less whether Finn had sex with Aunt Poppy in his teens. This is Bold and Beautiful, people. Does no one remember Amber and Thomas, Amber and Rick, freakin' Deacon taking Bridget's virginity over speakerphone with her family? Why don't you highlight that it would make Poppy a predator? The commenter asked later. And the reason that I don't bother is that the show will not give two bleeps about it. For Fanny Grayson's sake, Ridge out and outraged Brooke, and yet she's still made to shed tears about her thwarted destiny. Sheila tried to murder half of her fellow characters, and now she's supposedly a mild-mannered waitress whose biggest lapse in judgment is the baking of cookies that commemorate the time she pretended that a bear had eaten up every bit of her except for a single telltale toe. DTFs? We're not dealing in reality here, we're dealing in, well, Bold and Beautiful. Stroke 2 was also displeased by the theory that I put forth, suggesting that I think the writer need to go back to school and end the father of Lewis and put Hope and Carter and even Brooke in jail for stalling a company and final let Steffi. Trudge, and Eric gave their company back and keep Carter. Autocorrect may not be Stroke 2's BFF, but the gist of what they said is not lost on me. My theory sucks, and maybe it does, but it is also an executive producer / head writer Bradley Bell's DNA to go this route. Remember, while Dad William J. Bell was in charge of Young and Restless, he had Christine, aka his own real-life daughter's character, fall for Scott Granger, who turned out to be her brother. And once upon a time, Bold and Beautiful took a failed stab at making a match of Ridge and Bridget, who once believed that they were father and daughter. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that some viewers have been in panic mode on social media about the possibility that the show will land on the chopping block. Is B&B getting canceled? Here's what fans need to know. Beyond the Gates is set to make its premiere on February 24, so some soap watchers are worried that it's eventually going to take B&B's place. However, the talk was canceled to make room for Beyond the Gates, And CBS is actually showing a lot of faith in their soapy daytime lineup by throwing a brand new soap in the mix. The fact that Beyond the Gates is joining The Bold and the Beautiful and the Young and the Restless arguably says a great deal about CBS investment in soap operas. B&B remains an international hit that's been around for decades, so it's just tough to imagine that Beyond the Gates is expected to be a replacement for it. Instead, the goal is presumably to convince CBS soap watchers to add Beyond the Gates to their daily viewing of B&B and Y&R. There's another source of concern for some fans when it comes to The Bold and the Beautiful's future, and it's tied to some renewal news from back in 2024. Since Y&R was picked up for 4 years while B&B only got a 1-year extension, that's brought some worries about The Bold and the Beautiful getting the boot. Fortunately, B&B supervising producer Casey Kasperthick explained the situation on a March 2024 edition of Bold Live. Kasperthick talked about the two shows having 2 different contracts and 2 different deals. B&B was still operating under their previous deal with that 1-year extension, meaning they didn't have to negotiate a new deal until 2025. Of course, that doesn't offer any guarantees about what's ahead, but it does provide an explanation for why B&B didn't get a multi-season deal like Y&R. Now that 2025 has arrived, we'll just have to see what kind of contract The Bold and the Beautiful can lock in. Kasperthick promised there'd be more news this year and was hopeful about the show being on the air for a very long time. So there's no reason to think it'll get canceled at this point. Things are looking up for the soap world with the addition of Beyond the Gates and a new renewal deal hopefully being announced for B&B soon. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say some exciting storylines are brewing, so we'll bring you more plot predictions and updates on any other daytime drama news. It's the place to be for the hottest Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, predictions, news, and updates, so make us your one-stop source. The Bold and the Beautiful is never short on drama, and this latest twist could be one for the books. Steffy's scheming ways might hit an unexpected snag, and it's all thanks to Ridge and his infamous charm. Steffy has meticulously orchestrated a plan to break up Hope and Carter. She's enlisting her glamorous friend Daphne to lure Carter away. On the surface, Daphne's collaboration with Forrester Creations to launch her perfume line seems innocent enough. But in true soap fashion, ulterior motives are bubbling beneath the surface. Enter Ridge, the ultimate playboy with a track record of wooing women, even those who are significantly younger, like the late Caroline. As Steffi introduces Daphne to the Forrester family, she likely doesn't anticipate her father taking a keen interest in the stunning perfumer. Ridge's tendency to charm and pursue women is legendary, and it seems inevitable that Daphne might catch his eye. But what happens if the feeling becomes mutual? Daphne, meant to be a pawn in Steffi's game, could suddenly shift allegiances, putting Steffi's intricate plan at risk. Beyond the immediate fallout for Steffi's strategy, there's another layer of potential heartbreak. If Ridge and Daphne develop a connection, it could spell disaster for Taylor. Taylor has been holding on to hope for reconciliation with Ridge, but his wandering eye could again derail her romantic dreams. Taylor's rivalry with Brooke has always been heated, but how will she react to this new, much younger competitor? And would Ridge really jeopardize his family's loyalty and Taylor's affections for yet another romance? This development could throw the Forrester family into disarray, fracturing alliances and creating new conflicts. Will Steffi be able to salvage her plan and keep Ridge focused on family matters rather than romantic distractions? Or will Ridge's pursuit of Daphne set off a chain reaction of drama that upends everyone's lives? The Bold and the Beautiful viewers know that no secret is safe on the daytime soap, and it's only a matter of time before someone discovers Luna Nozoa at the Spencer mansion. Once news spreads that Bill Spencer is hiding the killer, he's going to start getting some hostile visitors. Will one of those people be Sheila Carter? Keep reading to find out. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. Sheila turns over a new leaf. Sheila Carter seems to have turned over a new leaf, but at the end of the day, everyone knows what she is capable of. The reformed baddie built a new life with Deacon Sharp and their employees at Il Giardino. After she was done clearing her own name, Sheila mourned the loss of Tom Starr and Hollis. She was visibly bothered by how the murders affected Deacon, and they nearly lost Il Giardino. If Sheila Carter finds out the woman that caused all of this is living her best life at the Spencer mansion, there is no way she will be able to stay away. Ironically, Sheila is not the only one who has beef with Luna Nozawa. In fact, Steffy Forrester probably has an axe to grind with her as well. B&B spoilers. Steffy Forrester and Sheila Carter have a common enemy. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say when news gets out that Luna is free, Steffy and Sheila will both be livid. It's been months since Steffy banned Sheila from her life. Will she call a temporary truce to discuss their mutual enemy? Steffy is a badass in her own right and killed Sheila's doppelganger in self-defense last year. Steffy and Sheila together are the last people you would want to meet in an alley on a dark night. Steffy is much more level-headed than Sheila. She could just put a bug in her ear and try to convince her to get revenge on Luna and do her dirty work. Do you think that Luna should be scared of retribution? Will Sheila and Steffy find common ground? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and keep checking back here on Celebrating the Soaps for more B&B spoilers, news, and updates. At the Forrester mansion, Steffy assures her family her plan will work. Ridge asks if she convinced the CEO. Steffy says Hope and Brooke will be an obstacle, but she's not concerned. Eric thinks it's an uphill battle. Steffy knows they're not naive and are trying to figure out her motive. She has to believe she's convinced them. We cannot go down like this. Forrester Creations is ours, and I intend to get it back. At Forrester, Brooke, Hope, and Carter discuss whether or not to bring Steffy back. Hope complains about the things she did before she left. How can we trust her? Carter reminds them he asked Steffy and Ridge to stay on. She's reconsidered, so how can he say no? Brooke says he's right. They can't really prevent her from coming back. Hope thinks Carter can. He's the manager of the LLC. Steffy has the potential to derail his plans. At the hospital, Lee takes a piece of Tom Starr's liver and puts it in a petri dish. She examines it under a microscope and muses, "Tom Starr, are you Luna's father?" At Bill's place, Luna pages through Great Expectations and then puts it down, so predictable. She no sooner lays on the sofa for a nap than Bill rushes in and tells her Will's at the gate. He can't see you. He implores her to move it, so she hightails it out of the living room and hides. Will comes in and Bill greets him enthusiastically. Will asks if he always hangs out in the foyer. It's weird. Luna smiles as he asks, "Is everything all right with you, Dad?" Bill invites his son to sit down and asks, "To what do I owe the pleasure?" Will says Liam mentioned that he's been working from home a lot. It's not like him to be away from his office. He notices the books on the coffee table and suggests he's processing that's happened in the last couple of months. Bill teases that he sounds like his mother and insists he's fine. Will asks, "Awk, but what about Luna?" Bill tells his son he doesn't have to bring her up. Will knows it affected him. He was psyched about having a daughter. He's glad that wasn't the case. Can you imagine having to handle all that right now? Bill tells Will he doesn't need to bring her up. "I don't ever need to think about Luna again." At the hospital, Lai calls down to the lab about her paternity test and then picks up a vial of blood and holds it in her hand. Later, she returns to the office with a box labeled as a DNA test kit and puts on her gloves. Taking a swab from the liver and the blood sample, Lai runs the DNA test. At Forrester, Carter, Brooke, and Hope continue to debate if Steffy can be trusted. Brooke's not sure. but she thinks they should give her a chance to prove herself. Maybe she'll convince the others to return as well. Hope knows she means Ridge and questions her mom. Brooke insists they need to give Steffi a chance and appeals to Carter. He picks up his phone and calls Steffi to tell her they'd like her to come to Forrester. At the mansion, Steffi disconnects from Carter and tells Ridge and Eric they want to see me. She's sure if their answer was no, they wouldn't ask to see her. Eric warns her to be wary. He's nervous what these traitors might have up their sleeve. Steffi reassures him. She refuses to let them take his company from him. They've forgotten how powerful the Stephanie Forrester genes are. They're in my DNA. Ridge and Eric beam as she walks out. Ridge admits it bothers him not knowing what she's up to, but he trusts her. She's a force of nature, and somehow he helped raise her. Eric says she's going to do it. Ridge, if anybody can save our company, it's Steffi Forrester. At Forrester, Carter tells Brooke and Hope that Steffi should be there soon. He wants to know what Hope is thinking. She doesn't think it's the best decision for the company he envisioned, but the decision rests with him, and I trust you. Eventually, Steffi arrives and Carter thanks her for coming back. She thanks him for considering her offer and assumes he's made a decision. Carter says, "We have." He knows she doesn't believe his motives for taking over weren't pure, but they were. He hurt her, and he struggles with that, but he wants her to think about how she treated Hope and the Logans in the past. She fired her and embarrassed her. He can only imagine how she feels about him, but here she is wanting to return to Forrester. Steffi nods as president. She acknowledges it's been a difficult situation. She doesn't like it, but she's pragmatic. The company is too important to simply walk away. Steffi understands who has the power and control, and there's nothing she can do about it. She can bring a lot to the company and doesn't need to be liked. She'll do what needs to be done. You know that's true. So, Carter, is it a yes or a no? Do we have a deal? Carter walks over and says, "Welcome back, Steffi." They shake hands, and he warns her not to make him regret this. She won't. This feels right for me, for Forrester. She'll help make Forrester everything it's meant to be. Steffi will succeed, and nothing will stop her. At Bill's place, Will persists with his line of questioning about Luna. Bill tells him he's moved past it and is looking toward the future. Will admits that when Liam told him he was spending time away from the office, he thought there was going to be a new woman in his life.